Welcome to Field Notes. I'm Jennifer Bearden with the University of Florida IFAS Extension in Okaloosa County. We all make assumptions from time to time, and I'm reminded of how dangerous this can be. You know what you get when you assume. I probably can't say that here, but you know what I mean. Assuming things can get us into trouble. I used to assume that all 7 insecticides contained carbaryl as the active ingredient, but I found out a few years ago I was wrong. You would think that I would have learned my lesson, but it's come to my attention that another pesticide has followed suit and changed up active ingredients. Roundup. Now, traditionally, Roundup has been synonymous with glyphosate, but in the last couple of years, they've switched things up and been releasing Roundup-branded herbicides onto the consumer market that contain other active ingredients. In my defense, I don't pay much attention to the consumer market since most of my clients are producers and purchase their pesticides from ag centers and not box stores. So now, the moral of this story is to read that label carefully. There's a good reason why I recommend pesticides by active ingredient and not by brand names. So let's look at some of these new products. Roundup for Lawns doesn't contain any glyphosate or any other non-selective herbicide, so it's safe to use on most lawn grasses. Selective herbicides are those that kill just certain plants and don't harm others, while non-selective herbicides kill most plants. Glyphosate is a non-selective herbicide. Now, Roundup Extended Control adds imazapic and diquat to glyphosate. Imazapic has a longer half-life, which means it hangs around longer than glyphosate and diquat. I would caution you that diquat is more acutely toxic than glyphosate, so be careful when handling this. Roundup Grass and Weed Killer combines triclopyr, diquat, and fluazepop, which gives you a non-selective herbicide, a broadleaf and woody plant herbicide, and a grass herbicide. Roundup Dual Action takes this combo and adds imazapic, which gives you a little longer term control. Roundup Weed and Grass Killer 3 combines glyphosate with pelargonic acid. This gives you the power of 2 non-selective herbicides, one being a translocated herbicide and one being a contact herbicide. Now finally, Roundup Poison Ivy and Tough Brush Killer combines glyphosate with triclopyr, which would be a fantastic combo with poison ivy, yopon holly, and privet bushes. I can see where these combinations can be helpful around homes and gardens, but it is somewhat confusing to have them all labeled as Roundup. That's why I'm in the habit of recommending active ingredient names instead of brand names. So read those labels carefully. Using Roundup for Lawns on Kogan grass isn't going to cause one bit of injury, but using Roundup Extended Control will. The weeds controlled are different with each of these. The volatility and persistence will be different with each of these, as well as the acute toxicity. Mainly keep in mind that diquat is more acutely toxic than these others and should be handled with more care. All right, y'all have a great week, and I'll talk to y'all again next week.